authentic as possible. I'm going to be myself with you as if I've been knowing you for.
Man, that is a long time.
I've been knowing you for
20.
Not 20.
Almost 20 years.
18 years.
That's crazy.
18 years.
Wow.
And I mean, if there's an opportunity, and of course you guys get this, right?
Right.
And you're about to jump into discussion. If there's an opportunity to be emotional, because these are real life moments, please do it. Because of course you are reaching an audience, and you want to reach this audience because these audience are you guys supporters. These supporters, you create product, you already know it's a revenue stream, and these are people that not only would it be a revenue stream or this community is giving this information, but as these are my conversations with Lana. We're going to take this setting from digital to it being in a hotel room, which is a conference to empower people, job placement, single fathers, single mothers, the list goes on and on. So the impact, the touch will be, greatly, just, meeting you, you got amazing presence, super educated, super intelligent. So I want to, with this space, I really want us to touch so many people, change the lives of so many people, those that have went through this situation, but also regular people, because like I always say to Lana, you guys are fucking brilliant. So that's you just know what to not fucking do with the
Okay. Let me know.
Yeah.
Count
Free
me in.
game.
Free game with Lana Hampton.
Free game. What you charge? She not free.
Three, two. Thank you for tuning in to Free Game with Lana Hampton, and I am your host, Lana Hampton. Free Game. Let me tell you, I come here, I'm interviewing people that have been in wait a minute, I gotta start over. I'm sorry. That's okay.
Last time.
No, I'm not texting him.
Okay.
I was texting me, but she got 2 dates. But that one guy said that he wanted to eat her coochie and eat her ass, and then she got her boyfriend that's really lame. So she asked me which one to pick. So I told her to go get her ass ate. And then I was like, I'm lying. I said, you need to do the right thing. That's what I said.
Oh, bless.
I hope y'all aren't recording that.
It is recorded, but don't worry, I'll edit it out.
Thank you. Because she would be so appalled, like, why? Okay, I'm back. Okay. Count me in.
Look at this camera when you're talking. And then once you introduce, then look at this one.
Okay.
Which camera do I look into?
That one. The big one?
The phone or the?
Or the little one?
This one.
Okay.
But really, I don't want one y'all in the interview and in the conversation.
Yeah,
just talk to each other.
Okay. Okay, count me in.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Free Game with Lana Hampton, and I'm your host, Lana Hampton. So, Free Game. It's where I have candid conversations with previously incarcerated individuals, and they're here to tell their journey of how they got to prison. Not only that, we're going to look at different ways of prison reform and talk about their experiences with the legal system. But not only that, we want to prevent repeat offenders and also show when you come home how to reacclimate in society. So when we come back, we will have former mastermind, car theft turned litigation specialist. So don't you move. We'll be right back. Ready? You keeping going? Thank you for joining me with you're going to edit it anyway, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Today's guest is previously incarcerated litigation specialist Everett Tripodis. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
You're like notorious in the A, like super notorious.
Unfortunately.
Well, Well, you know, we all have some good pub and some bad pub, right?
Yeah, famous for the wrong reasons, but
Well, you know,
famous nonetheless.
well, that's all you want is a little fame, no matter how it comes.
I guess.
Well, thank you for coming, and I really appreciate you being a part of what I'm trying to do to help the community and help people like ourselves get reacclimated into society. So, I guess I want to start a little bit with let's talk about what you were doing before you got incarcerated. Where you're from, and how'd you get there? Like, you know, what happened? Like, tell us the story.
Well, I attended an Atlanta public school.
Loosen up.
I
Okay, I like your 4-piece suit, but go ahead.
appreciate it.
Let's get in it.
It's better than the orange,
Oh
right?
yeah, it does. Definitely looks good on you too.
Better
by
than
the
the
way.
monkey suit. Appreciate it. But I look good in the orange too now.
Yeah, I see you in orange.
Okay. So I went to an Atlanta public school. I was in the top 5% of my class. I was selected by the governor to go to the governor's honors program. I got a scholarship to Emory University, academic scholarship to Emory. I had debate scholarships to other schools like Michigan, Vanderbilt, but I chose to stay in Atlanta and go to Emory. I didn't want to leave my family. I wanted to stay close to home. And then I went to Emory after winning a number of debate championships in high school. And, I mentored other people that were behind me and under me at Thayer High School in Southwest Atlanta. And I kind of set the mark for and carved out a path for others behind me to go to Emory as well. So my debate partners and other friends ended up going to Emory. And they used that education, and some went to Harvard Law School and became United States attorneys and worked in the Obama administration as an assistant attorney general. I have friends that are professors at prestigious universities in California, deans of universities in Tennessee. So my colleagues.
Yeah, I was going to interrupt you. I want you to get into the minutia of
Okay.
what it is, in the words of T.I. I want you to tell me what prompted you. You have all of these people around you that's positive. You're giving positive things. You're educated. Let's get into the minutia of what it is. Like, when did you start?
So I believe I stole my first car.
That's what I'm talking about.
So when I was going there, and I say all that to color it for this reason.
Yeah.
So when I was in 11th grade, there was some friction in my household, and I opted not to live there anymore. So I left my parents' home when I was still in high school, and they ended up moving to Clayton County, which was outside the district, for me to remain going to Thayer. But because I liked the debate team, because I liked the school, and I ultimately became Mr. Thayer, I wanted to continue to go there. And I didn't want to go to Clayton County because back then Clayton County was white. So it was lame to go to school in certain parts of Clayton County. So I wanted to stay around that Camilton Road area.
Oh, Zone 4.
Please believe me. So I ended up using a stolen car to get back and forth from school.
Oh, wow.
I ended up living with a friend's girlfriend off Old National.
Oh.
And I would get back and forth to school in a hot box.
Okay.
And I learned that there's a market for stolen cars because someone who knew the car was stolen had someone who wanted to buy the car.
Oh, wow.
So.
And how old were you?
I was 17 at the time.
Okay.
So.
Not too young to not know, but young enough to not understand the consequences so much. Or did you know the consequences?
I didn't know the consequences whatsoever. I just knew that I could get cars from there and sell the cars here for a substantial sum for profit. So once you get that first taste of like having money, once you taste the blood, I guess, you want more. It's like having a cat with a little milk on the front porch. You give him a little milk, he's gonna keep coming back, right? So, and at the time, Atlanta, now everybody's stealing cars, right? They're rapping about cars. It's part of pop culture. They have songs about changing vans, getting new paperwork, getting cars on CPNs, getting,
Yeah.
fictitious car titles and shit. So now everybody's doing it. Back then, nobody was doing it.
Mhm.
So I found myself sort of inventing a wheel of the sorts. I mean, things were going on in like New York and New Jersey, but this was the dirty South.
Yeah.
They weren't doing anything for the most part, but selling cocaine, selling crack, right? So, I mean, you can train a monkey to sell dope.
That is true.
So mine was a little more challenging and creative. So what I did once I started selling the cars to the group that was buying them, I stumbled across another person at a barbershop who needed paperwork to cars.
Oh, okay.
So
that took it to a whole nother level.
It did. I did. So I went to the DMV one day
Oh.
and just asked some questions. Hey, I have a car. I'm trying to get my tag. I don't know what to do. Oh, well, this is what you could probably do. Go to that window over there, talk to Tasha. Tasha can. So I went and talked to Tasha. I'm not the ugliest nigga in Atlanta, so
No.
Tasha was
Smitten by you.
she was friendly.
Yeah.
Tasha was a little overweight. Tasha liked Krispy Kreme donuts. Let's bring hot donuts now to Tasha.
Hey, that'll
So,
do it.
I pulled up and told her my situation, and I
Right.
gave her the VIN, and she looked and said, well, there's nothing in the system, but where'd you get it? Oh, I got it from an auction. Okay, well, this is what you need to do to get the title. So she gave me some documents, and I read over the shit. But before I left, I saw a manual at somebody else's desk, like the training manual.
Okay.
So shit, I grabbed it,
Okay.
right? I'm going to Emory on an academic scholarship. I'm one of the smartest niggas in town, right? So I read the manual, and it gave me all the game. I said, oh, they did. So I went back to the guy and said, look, I can get the paperwork. I can get the registration on the cars for you. I can't get the title, but I can get the tag in any name you want it. You don't even have to change the VIN. So how much? I said, $1,500. He said, wow, I need that. How much with the bill of sale? I said, well, with the bill of sale is $2,000.
Right.
So I'm about 18 years old at the time.
That's good money.
$2,000 a tag, right? And at that very moment, there was a tag agent in DeKalb County who had gotten popped for registering a bunch of cars for her boyfriend. So she had registered maybe 80 or 90 cars. Guess what? All 90 need new tags now. My God. As it may, there was a light-skinned, light-eyed, curly-haired nigga that went to Emory that could get the tags for you.
And that's how you.
So they faxed me a list of all the cars in the vans, and I went to work. So then I mastered the paperwork part of the game.
So yeah, let's talk about that. You said, like I've read a lot of the tabloids. I've read, I've done a lot of history check on you. Like you said, the bad pub, the good pub. But let's talk about when they deem you a mastermind, what is it specifically that they saw or you did that would deem you a mastermind at this? Because from what I read, it says that you are the biggest in the Southeast region, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know one guy, right? One guy that can go to a Bentley dealership and steal 8 Bentleys without being seen on a camera, without triggering an alarm system, without leaving a fingerprint or DNA. I don't know. If you meet him, let me meet him. Introduce him to me. I was the guy that you could tell me today that you want a Cadillac Escalade. Today's Friday. And Saturday by noon, I could have the Escalade with plastic still on the seats, with a new title that you can Carfax, and it's the title to the car, state issue, not a fake one that they make, that they Photoshop, right?
Right.
Real paperwork.
Right.
So what made me able to, what distinguished me from a lot of guys that were in the car game is that I could do everything A to Z. You have guys who can just steal cars.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, I could steal the car, create the VIN, make the VIN, get the paperwork, change the VIN, sell the car. Undetectable, right? Law enforcement wouldn't even know the car is stolen. So I was good at the craft, but it was only because I was smart enough to do it.
Right.
Auto theft wasn't a smart person's game,
No.
right?
You gotta have some balls to do it.
You have to have balls, but most people who have nuts don't have intelligence,
That's
right?
true.
You have courage, it'll be the big, dumb, courageous guy, the
Correct.
brute, right? But they're typically not the brains behind the operation. But when you have a nigga that has brains and nuts, it's a lethal combination, right?
Yes.
So the mastermind thing comes from not just the sophistication, the brains behind it, the brazenness, but also because I was one of the
You see me? Yeah.
Okay. We want to help them.
So I appreciate you saying you don't want to glamorize it, because we do want to help young boys that are looking up to, you know, so again, let's talk, you know, like us around and the opposite of what has. So I'm gonna kind of, what's your take on that and consequences?
okay. So I do emphasize whatsoever. Consequences of a championship who used for the wrong thing, then my trajectory would have been different.
Right.
And earlier I referenced debate partners and friends who are presidents and
From,
or they work for niggas that works for me.
right.
So they've taken my game and copied and pasted. I get sent articles all the time. I have a friend who's an executive for Bacardi,
Mm-hmm.
and you know he travels and he hears things and different stories, and he'll always send me stories of guys in North Carolina, huge indictment, indictment in Tennessee and Indianapolis, where people have taken my same algorithm, my blueprint, and have replicated my scheme, probably made millions of dollars as well, but there's serious consequences associated with it. And when you look at Atlanta now, you have guys who don't go to the dealership and trick the parts department into issuing a new key like I did. These young niggas are pulling up.
Was a lot more finesse where nobody was getting hurt.
Exactly. But when you don't have the finesse, but you have the hunger, then you resort to desperate means to accomplish the goal.
Right.
Right. So I helped create a demand for cars in Atlanta. I helped create this ethic of Atlanta being a destination place for stolen cars and chopped cars and altered cars.
Right.
And as a result of the demand for the cars, you have young niggas who want the money who are doing ridiculous things to get the cars. They're breaking in houses to steal people's cars and kill the old lady in Buckhead.
Oh no.
You have a young guy who just got killed on Martin Luther King at a gas station, sliding into the wrong person's car. And the owner comes out and sees it and bam, 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 dumps on him. 16 years old, lost his life. I see it every day on the news and it saddens me because I feel responsible to an extent. Even though I don't know that young nigga, even though I didn't send him out there to do it, I created a movement.
Yeah.
I set in motion a whole chain of events that you can't control. It's like ripping open a feather pillow on the top of a balcony at the top of a Buckhead penthouse and shaking it. It goes everywhere. You can't put it back in. I opened up a can of worms to sorts. So I bear a lot of guilt. As a result, I desire to teach these young kids that there's a different way to do it. Because the Bible says saving one soul covers a multitude of sins. Well, Lord knows I have a multitude of sins to cover, but I don't want to just save one. I want to save many. So I appreciate you inviting me on here to try to make a difference and to make an impact. So, as a result of the things that I did to obtain wealth, I ended up having to go to prison. You have a guy who's attended prestigious universities, has these degrees, and I go to prison and seemingly just rip that shit up.
How many times have you been to prison for this particular thing?
I've been to prison 3 times for auto theft related offenses. Now, not that I've been guilty of participating in auto theft all 3 times, but I've been accused of it and charged with it because I became a poster boy for auto theft in Atlanta. If someone's car gets stolen, one of the first names they think about is me.
Right.
When you think of auto theft in Atlanta, detectives, the FBI, and anyone else who investigates it thinks of me. You can Google and look on the Georgia Department of Public Safety, the Department of Motor Vehicle Services website. I had a friend who bought a car at a dealership that went defunct and went to the website to try to figure out what to do to get her title because she had financed the car and the dealership was gone and she couldn't get her tag. She went online to kind of figure out what to do, and she pulled up a case study that the Georgia Department of Motor Vehicle Services had teaching their employees what to look for and how to avoid issuing paperwork for stolen cars, and they used me as a case study.
Wow. Now that is...
I'm in the training manual in Georgia.
Oh my God.
So
oh my God.
That was humiliating.
Yeah, but I'm like the magnitude of that is just and okay, let's a little bit because the print of what to look for. And it has with your wrongdoings.
Take others. This is what I mean. right? So I haven't stolen a car in years. But do you think that stops them from thinking or wondering if I am still stealing cars, or if something comes up missing, if they think I did it? Right? If a dealership gets hit for 9 Corvettes, you don't think for 1 minute that they think, oh, maybe it's Tripodis. Right. And aside from that, I work as a litigation specialist at a law firm. I'm in and out of courthouses every day. I was at federal court yesterday for a revocation proceeding for a guy who ended up getting 7 months. Prior to that, I was at a federal sentencing. I was sitting in on a trial supporting an attorney representing a drug trafficker, a marijuana trafficker, in front of the same judge that sentenced me.
Oh, wow. I'm sure that was something.
He's looking at me.
And he's wondering. Side-eye,
wondering, what am I doing there?
Right.
Right? He's used to seeing me in the orange. He sees me in a suit now.
Right.
So he's confused. Right. I'm having to communicate with other attorneys and prosecutors, and when they receive emails and see it's me.
Yeah, it's
different.
It's very different.
Because I made my mark in Atlanta in the legal system
the wrong way.
For the wrong reasons. So I also have children, right? And I volunteer at my son's school. I won an award as a volunteer for the choir programs in the chorus at a middle school in Fayette County. And I received an award for my, support of the team. And as a chaperone, they have to do background checks. Oh, yeah. For me to go into schools and play certain positions, they do background checks.
That's true.
For me to go visit inmates in jails, they do background checks. Yes. For me to get approval to walk into a courthouse with my phone, federal buildings don't allow you to have phones. Yeah. So when the law firm has to file the documentation to let the employees come into the building, and they see your name, and they see my name, they know the name when they see it. There's only one Everett Tripodis. Right. So that notoriety works in certain contexts, but it works against me in others. However, I'm resilient. Yeah. Right? I'm not the type of person, and no one should be the type of person that thinks that burnt bridges are uncrossable. I've heard people say, when you burn, don't burn bridges because you can't come back across them. Mm-hmm. What people overlook and what I look at and what I love is that fuck the bridge. Right. Right? Because have you ever looked at what's under the bridge? Right. Right. It's a motherfucking kudzu. Yeah. It might be some mud. Right. It might be some dirt and debris and some gravel and shit, right? It might be some rough terrain. But I'm gonna go through that shit. Mm-hmm. I've been through that shit a number of times, right?
So I'm gonna stop you for one moment. We'll come back. We're gonna take a break because we gotta pay the bills. And we're gonna get back into the mastermind turned litigator. Be right back.
Something threes or something?
No, you know.
Oh man, cap, man.
You're right.
Come on with the cap, man.
It's on you.
Okay, we're back with litigator Everett Tripodis. I just don't know how to thank you for just shedding light on your journey to imprisonment. But I want to get into, I want to take you back. I want to take you back to the day that you were arrested, that last time.
Ooh-wee.
And I want to horn into what that process was like, because for the people that are just tuning in, Everett has discussed, how he's deemed one of the biggest car theft people here in Atlanta, how he's basically changed his life, and now he's into litigation. But he's also expressed from start to finish what it looks like and how he's really given the blueprint for all car theft that's happening now. You got incarcerated or arrested, what that looked like, what was the process, because now everybody knows who you are. Take us through that, how you were treated by the police, the feds, the ATF, whoever came and got you. Let's talk about that day.
Okay, well, they always have the option of sending you a summons and have you come in and voluntarily take yourself, you know. I'm like, shit. Couldn't believe it. I didn't. So,
So when you hear FBI, you hear any of the acronyms, DEA, FBI, ATF.
went in wanting to call my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about when I was in the attic was, fuck, I'm letting my children down.
Yeah.
Is there a statute that says it's illegal to talk too much? I have a First Amendment right to free speech. I can say what I want to say as long as I'm not threatening you. Right. I can tell you to kiss my ass.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
you can tell me to kiss your ass.
I'm sure that
we can not like each other.
That fires.
He said, you know what? I hope you never get out of jail. I said, hey, but if you know me, you know I will. So he didn't like it. The agents didn't like it. And they took me to jail. My co-defendant got a signature bond and went home. I was stuck with no bond.
I know how that feels.
And not only was I stuck without a bond, but I was denied bail for the wrong reasons. I was denied bail for reasons that the law doesn't allow you to be denied bail.
And expound.
Okay. Under the Federal Bail Reform Act, Congress passed a law saying that when someone is arrested with a federal crime, the default decision is bail. So everyone who's arrested by the federal government, with certain exceptions, are essentially guaranteed a bond. They're bailable offenses, except child pornography, violent crimes, certain drug offenses. In those instances, the presumption is against bail, but the defendant can overcome the presumption by presenting clear and convincing evidence to the judge. Because I am who I am, they slid me into the category of the needing to overcome a presumption in order to get bond, even though bond was supposed to be the default.
Right.
So when they denied bond, I didn't know this at the time, but the judge had entered notes saying that I had been convicted of gun offenses, that I had been convicted of violent crimes, in order to trigger the code section that would cause a person to be denied bail.
Wow.
I didn't know that until I had sat in there for a very extensive period of time and saw other people getting bonds for more serious crimes, so it caused me to look into it, doing my own legal research. Of course, you know, I'm educated in law. So I read and studied the Bail Reform Act and found out by looking at the statute and comparing my order that the order was wrong. So I petitioned the court for a new bond hearing because of a mistake in the judge's order from the original bond hearing.
But do you see how, you know, if you didn't have that education or you wasn't, educated in that field, you wouldn't know
I'd be fucked.
You would be.
And there are so many people that are in there now who are fucked.
That's the state.
Who don't even know it.
They don't know the law.
So let me tell you, because that set in motion a chain of events that got me out of jail.
Oh, wonderful.
So when I filed the motion to modify the judge's order or a motion for new hearing for bail and bond, I filed it. It went to the magistrate court. They saw their error. He denied it, but I appealed it to the district court judge.
Okay.
The district court judge had a hearing, went in. He denied it. My lawyer said, hey, man, that's it. You're stuck. I didn't say, fuck you. I didn't say, kiss my ass. I said, I'm taking this to the 11th Circuit. He says, well, you can take that to the 11th Circuit on your own. I'm done.
Wow. So your attorney just gave up on you as well.
I said, okay, well, you must not know who I am because
you're resilient.
That's precisely what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this shit to the 11th Circuit myself. So I took it to the 11th Circuit, and the 11th Circuit just rubber stamped it. They didn't even look at the grounds I presented. All they said was that the district court did not abuse their discretion when determining that bond should be denied. In law, you know, there's people who know law, lawyers, there's two things. There's the facts and there's the law, right? There's the discretion when the judge abuses his or her discretion, and then there's when they make a clear error, when they make a legal error, meaning they do something that the law doesn't allow.
Right.
Now, if they do something the law does allow, but they go too far, they review it for an abuse of discretion, meaning you abused your discretion as a judge. I didn't present a question to the Court of Appeals as to whether the judge abused his discretion or not.
Right.
I presented a question as to whether the judge did something that the law doesn't allow. The 11th Circuit knew that the judge did something that the law didn't allow,
right,
but they do it to everybody.
Right.
So if they would have granted my case, it would have opened up the floodgates.
That they could have used your case to
as
free a lot of other people.
Exactly, as case law
Yep.
for everybody to get a bond.
Oh, yeah.
So it was more a political decision than it was a legal decision.
Right.
So I filed a motion for reconsideration to the 11th Circuit saying, hey, I didn't ask whether the judge abused his discretion. I asked whether there was legal error, whether the judge could make that decision as a matter of law, not as a matter of fact. So I had a legal question, not a factual one. But they rubber stamped and denied that. So I asked them for all of the judges to decide on it, because in the Court of Appeals, usually 3 judges make a decision.
Right.
You can ask them for the whole body to make a decision to get the opinion of all the judges. I'm doing this pro se, representing myself.
Yes.
They denied it. So I said, listen, they don't have the final say so. I'm about to take this shit to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Which is what I did. So I drafted my own brief. I filed the petition to the United States Supreme Court. And hundreds of people do it all the time. Thousands even go to the Supreme Court or petition the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, as you know, are appointed by presidents.
Yes.
They have a lifetime tenure.
It's the highest in the land.
The highest in the land. They're not really influenced on the macro level by the politics. They don't know Everett Tripodis.
No.
Right? They don't know the history and the characteristics of this guy. All they know is what they read.
Which is law.
Which is law. So I sent it to the U.S. Supreme Court. And out of all the cases that the Supreme Court gets, there's a screening process. The Supreme Court justices read them and decide which ones they want to hear. So it's almost winning the lottery when the judge decides to pick your case.
Right.
Usually the cases they pick come from lawyers they're familiar with. lawyers who argue before the Supreme Court all the time.
Right.
So they'll see it. Oh, I know him. What is he? Okay, he only takes serious cases. What is? But mixed in that jumble was a pro se guy whose brief they read and were blown away.
Well, so this is what makes, you know, you're a unique person. And the information you just provided, I'm sure will help a lot of people, because I get phone calls from people saying, hey, I got a friend going to jail, or I have someone that's already incarcerated. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'm sure you get those phone calls as well.
I do.
But they do not understand that if you don't know law, you will get railroaded. Some of the court-appointed attorneys that they have are only there to basically get you a plea deal and let you be gone, rot, whatever. Because
some don't lie to the audience.
Okay, don't lie to the
All
audience.
the motherfuckers are doing this. This is a conveyor belt system.
Yes.
This isn't a criminal justice system. This shit is a machine. This is a business. The officers have the charge and discretion. They lock you up. And I'm working on the other side of it, so I see this shit.
Yeah.
They lock you up. You get to court. There's not a question as to whether you're going to trial or not. You know what they say?
Right.
Here's the offer.
Yes.
As soon as you get there, based on, without looking at the facts, without deciding whether or not the law officer was lying, without discovery, they slide the plea deal. Okay, they're willing to give you probation.
Yes.
You got a guy whose bond's been denied, been sitting in jail for 3 months, who's lost his job, his girlfriend's about to fuck another nigga. What's he gonna do?
You right.
Hey man, you want to go to trial? You'll be sitting here another year and a half. But well, you can get out today
if you sign
for probation.
Yes.
So niggas are taking probation, not knowing you just caught a felony too, fam. Right? So they take the cases, and the lawyers don't really give a damn, because what most don't know is the lawyers don't get paid on the front end when you're a public defender or a federal defender. You mark down your hours, you get paid when the case is over.
Yeah.
So when you get sentenced federally is when the federal defender sends the voucher to the court, and that's when the court cuts the check. So the federal defender is incentivized in wrapping the case up fast.
Wow.
Most cases, 90% of cases these days end up in pleas. Why? People don't go to trial.
Right.
The reason we're so successful at the Moss Law Group is because we let them know we're ready to go to trial. We ask for discovery. We set things in motion, right? So, you know, we make prosecutors respect constitutional rights, which people don't do now. Right. So, anyway, ultimately, my case was hand-selected.
Right.
Someone read it. The government had waived their right to respond. The government was so bold and so confident that my argument was frivolous, or maybe that no one was going to pay attention to me, that they declined to respond to my petition.
Wow.
The U.S. Supreme Court saw it and ordered them to respond, because they saw how serious that shit was.
Right.
They saw merit.
Look at that.
Forced them to respond. And you know what happens? The Supreme Court, when you go before the Supreme Court, it's not your local prosecutors handling the case. That shit goes up to the Attorney General.
Okay.
The Solicitor General has to respond on behalf of the government. So you know shit does roll downhill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the Solicitor General is looking at this shit, the Solicitor General is over the United States Attorney, who's over my prosecutor, right? So you have layers of federal prosecutors. Well, shit's rolling down where they're like, hey, what's going on? Why is this case still hasn't gone to trial? And you're sitting pre-trial for 4 years. 4 years I'm sitting pre-trial fighting my case. Why hasn't this gone to trial yet?
Well, all I can say is knowing what you just shared is definitely going to shed light on people to be more informed and do some research on their own.
They better.
But I'm going to say this. When we come back, I want to go into your prison experience. I want to talk about what reform looks like. So guess what, people? I know you don't want to miss this, because Everett's just shared a multitude of things that's boy, powerful.
I'm going to give you the game how to get from that to that.
Okay.
I'm going to teach you how to boss up.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. We'll be right back.
also represent your tribe and your community. So telling this audience and giving them that energy of it is possible and how to do it.
Okay.
You know, how to of course bring everybody back in.
Okay.
And really what I love about it is no one's running. Everybody did their time. Like, okay, whatever. The bigger goal is we're brilliant people. So that's really what we tapping into.
Yeah. Okay.
Sitting with the mastermind. You know, like, you know, we sitting with a smart ass, intelligent woman here. You know, so it's everyone that has went through these things. It's like, okay, yeah, I fucked up. I was young then. Yeah, I was money hungry. I wanted money. Who don't want money? This, you know.
That's why
surreal.
that's why it's
surreal.
crazy.
That's the
because-
story who someone wants to hire. We know that. The people got
That's what I'm gonna say. Like at the end,
Yeah.
like, hey, sign me up.
Yeah.
How can I retain you as my
Yeah.
attorney? Because I would
There
rather
is.
somebody that knows both sides
Yeah.
than just
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So we are back with Everett Tripodis, litigator. I don't even want to even put Mastermind Car Thief with your name anymore. I want to go into the new Everett Tripodis. And I was going to take this into what your day-to-day was like in prison and what that looked like for you. But I just know that wouldn't even be something that I would want the audience to even want to horn in on it. I want to go into you said your kids and you being in that attic and the feds coming for you and wanting to talk to them. It's very impactful when we leave our children. So I want to know, what was that like as a father? Because I shared on my last podcast, like as a mother, how I felt, and I had to apologize to my kids. So I want to go into, as a father, from the perspective of a male leaving his children, what did that feel like, and what does that look like for you as you come back?
It was dehumanizing. It was humbling at the same time. And I have to give credit to my kid's mother for being able to take care and raise those kids without me being present, and for me to come home and my children are respectful and educated. My daughter's employed; she hustles. My son is just amazing despite his own challenges. I have a son with special needs who's born with a birth defect. He wears a prosthetic leg. And, being in jail and losing both of my parents, right? And essentially losing my family as well, because my wife divorced me while I was incarcerated. So when I came home, I had no mom, I had no father, I had no wife. My children were had moved. And I have to accept responsibility for that, because while I was younger, it was okay for me to get out and run my check all the way up. Yeah. But then I realized it was a cycle. I would get out, run my check all the way up. Mm-hmm. Then I have to go sit down, and then use the resources that I ran up to be able to take care of my family while I'm in, and then come home and have to do it again, because I was used to a certain lifestyle. So, one of the worst things about me going to prison isn't just being in jail or being in a cell. I'm cool with being by myself. I don't like being around niggas anyway, right?
Yeah.
But the problem was the damage that it did to my relationships, and mostly my daughter. So my daughter grew up without her dad, right? Hardly knows me, hardly know her. I've been gone her whole life.
And that's very hard for young girls, because they need their dad.
Definitely. And to the point where she's old enough to tell me how she feels and how I ruined her childhood and how, you know, she's cool with not having a relationship with me. And that shit wasn't an equal trade-off, right? Because no one is on a deathbed saying, damn, I should have put them other rims on my car. Well, shit, I need to go, man, I really need to go get that other Louis bag. You know, people on their deathbed, they're worried about their relationships, their family, their kids, right? Their progeny. So I lost a relationship with my child. Beautiful, beautiful young girl. You see my social media. We were so close when she was younger. My baby. You know, now I can text her. She won't even text back.
I can relate. You know, I'm going through that with my daughter. I think, like I was saying, every, you know, child, you know, each one of my kids dealt with it differently. So I could definitely feel how you feel, you know, like, yeah, that's tough.
So when I came home,
Yeah.
when I was out,
Yeah.
now before all these niggas was wearing designer,
Yeah.
before it became the thing to wear, when niggas was still just wearing jabos, I was wearing designer shit.
Yeah.
I was buying Gucci and Louis Vuitton in the early 90s, mid 90s. I was rocking that shit. I got some shit now. I haven't even worn it. I bought it in like 93. Shit's vintage. I had to go get the belt resized. And the lady went crazy. Oh my God, would you like to sell this belt? I have so many people want this. I don't make it anymore. I'm like, no. She said, this is vintage. Oh my God, taking pictures and shit. Where'd you have it, man? I got all type of old shit. So when I went to prison and came home, all my shit's gone. All my clothes and shit are gone. So I'm like, where's my shit? Oh, Kaylin, my daughter, she put it up somewhere, and then she doesn't know where it's at. You know, ultimately, you know, her lack of respect for me, lack of love for me, caused her to have a lack of respect for my shit. So I can't get into what happened to it, but you know, it devastated me that all that shit that I amassed over the years was gone. But the underlying issue is the problem, the relationship with my kids.
So I was gonna say, as far as the monetary stuff, the material things, the relationship between you and your daughter is worth more than any Gucci belt.
Because I can get that back.
Oh, absolutely. It
I
might
can
not
go
be vintage.
And honestly, I don't even wear that shit no more.
Good.
I don't even want that shit. I don't want to put on the same thing that the nigga on Cleveland Avenue across from the McDonald's got on at the gas station selling dope. What I want to look like one of them niggas for? I was wearing it when them niggas weren't wearing that.
Yeah.
Right? So now I've learned just to blend in. I'd rather look like a normal nigga and have them M's than look like the nigga with the M's with the M's.
I understand.
Feel what I'm saying? Because it attracts the wrong shit.
It does.
I'd rather pull up in some normal shit and the woman look at me and say, damn, choose what she sees, me, rather than see me in the Bentley or the Urus.
Well, you're looking really debonair. So, you know, if somebody pulls up, they're going to see the debonair.
Well, they'll see me and say, oh, my goodness, he's a corporate executive. He's never been to jail. I like this guy.
He's never been to jail.
He's going on my regular longest train smoke. Come on, man. For real.
Yes.
But, so it was my relationships with my kids. It was just devastating. Now, fortunately for me, my son, when I left him, was, my goodness, how old was he? He wasn't even in school yet. When I come back, he's in middle school.
Landon?
Yeah. So he was young enough for me to be able to salvage that relationship. My daughter's not so much. I mean, I text her on her birthday, happy birthday, didn't even get a response. So it's hurtful. It's very hurtful. It hurts me to the core. And I regret the things that I did. I apologize humbly. I should have been there. Because she was left with an artist to paint the canvas, to have a depiction of me that little increments of what she's seen and a substantial portion of what her mother has painted about me that may not be accurate. It may, but it may not be 100% accurate.
Well, I'm going to say this in defense of, you know, when we're out doing fast things with, you know, fast money, fast stuff, even though we may be married, we may neglect our home in the manner that women want to be loved, appreciated, and respected. So I know this is probably a battle of the sexes here, but I've been a wife, and I am a woman. So even though you take care of your household financially, sometimes men lack taking care of their home as a whole, because we as your wife we need things as well. And again, it's all about respect. It's all about how we feel unappreciated. So again, I'm just gonna say that for the wives that have been with men in the fast lane, fast money, out of the world, that may have that good woman at home, and 9 times out of 10, the woman that you have at home that you chose to be your wife, you have influenced her. You've created the monster that you claim she's became, because 9 times out of 10, the women that you wife up, they don't know. So you got to take responsibility in how she reacts, how she may have cultivated some disdain between you and your daughter from how you mistreated her when you didn't really think you were mistreating her.
Okay.
And that's just a whole nother, that's a whole nother story.
But I need to
Okay, you can get it out. I'm gonna let you.
I need to respond.
I'm gonna let you. Don't take over my show.
I'm not, but to no degree am I minimizing the things that I did to my ex-wife.
All right.
So, I was a trifling nigga.
Okay. I appreciate that.
I put her through hell.
Look, I appreciate that. On her behalf.
I did a whole lot of fuck shit.
I appreciate that.
I'm not saying that she's a monster. She's not.
No. But you're saying
I'm not saying that I didn't create an atmosphere that.
But
and I'm not saying that
you said that she kind of influenced some of the way that your daughter thinks about you over a period of time. So that's what I heard you say.
Okay, but
not those words.
That doesn't mean that the influence wasn't deserved.
Okay, fair.
So that she had an impact.
Yes.
On the way that my daughter perceives me, in my opinion, does not mean that if she does or did influence her, that she manufactured a whole lot of that shit.
Okay.
Right?
Again, we're going to have to get your ex-wife on here and hear her perspective, because coming from, in her defense.
As long as she's not right there and I'm right here.
Oh, no.
You can have her here by yourself, because I don't know if we'd be able to coexist in this space. But I'll say, she was a phenomenal woman.
Okay.
I'm not going to take anything away from her. She stayed down. She was there and supported me for a number of years.
Yes.
And anybody who can put up with my crazy ass deserves an award.
Right.
So, I cannot take away the thing. And I gave credit to her now as how she raised my children.
Yes, you did.
And to get back on the exact point, it is my fault that I was away from my child. I should have been present.
Right.
So my daughter could have seen me, and I could have been the father that I needed to be to my child.
Absolutely.
But I chose the streets. I chose the things that come along with niggas that's in the streets.
Yeah.
The fast money, the fast cars, the fast women, the other decisions I made. I single-handedly destroyed my family.
Sounds good.
She didn't.
Correct.
I did it. And I accept responsibility for that, and for the lives that I destroyed and people that I brought into my fold that were parts of my organization that probably didn't understand the gravity of the things they were doing. I have to accept responsibility for the innocent people who were charged in my case.
Yeah.
That the FBI and the government strategically indicted because they wanted them to flip and turn on me. Right? And I have to give thanks to those who didn't flip and didn't tell on me. And there aren't that many for me to thank, but you know who you are.
Right.
The 2 that did, or 3 that did not, or the 2 or 3 that didn't.
Well,
so
in the essence of, if we don't do any crime, then we don't have to worry about flipping, somebody being loyal, staying down. And I laugh at it because I teeter-totter with, I have that street sense, and then I have that book sense.
Right.
So a lot of times when I'm in conversation and I'm hearing, it's like I'm mirroring myself right now with you, because the people that didn't snitch on you, you know, like, we shouldn't have been doing stuff for nobody to be in that position. We shouldn't even had nobody in our game room, and we shouldn't have been committing crimes.
Definitely.
So a lot of that, to me, is like, we're not all the way there.
Well, I can't say we're not all the way there. What I'll say is that we have a bifurcated image.
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
So that's why they call me Harvard Bankhead, right? Because I'm one part Harvard, right? Harvard law, educated, brilliant, scholar. But the other part, still got that street shit in me. I can't take that out of me. It's part of who I am.
Right.
But I can pull from that and make myself a better litigator. I can make myself a better attorney. I can better defend people, right? I can be a better person, pulling from that, still having that common sense and that street sense at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it makes me a more marketable young man, of course.
Yes.
A woman doesn't want a man who, if someone snatches their purse, they run, right? You want someone who's going to be able to stand up for you, protect her.
Yes.
A reformed person who's been through some shit. That's me. So I'm not going to say that, you know, I'm not done with it. I'm definitely done with it, but I can always pull from my own identity. It's part of me. It's in me. And you don't have too many people that are like, you know, that have that duality, right? Mm-hmm. Like you, extremely intelligent, get into some shit, right? You still know the streets, but you're wise enough now to know that the street route isn't the route to go.
Absolutely.
I wish I could have circumvented that, but God doesn't make mistakes. I went through everything I went through for a reason, and I'm still here. I have so many friends that are not here. We have so many people we know that didn't make it. Yeah. Right? So I'm blessed to be counted amongst the living. Yes. And I'm here for a reason, a purpose. And I'm glad to be on this show, because part of my purpose is to help those that are behind me, right? To be able to pull those up and save souls. Fortunately, I'm able to be around my son. Even though there was a divorce and there was a parenting plan, my wife was evidently unaware of the parenting plan when I first came home, and thought there wasn't one in place, and she was concerned about, you know, where I was, my stability, and you know, where my son would be. Of course, she didn't want my child around another woman. You know how women are. You don't want your kid with the other girl, right? So there was a little tension as to, you know, how I would see my son.
But you already ironed that out, and you guys are co-parenting as
I get my son. I've had him almost every weekend for the past month.
That's great.
I'll have him today, praise God. Okay. And we spend a lot of time together, and I teach him the game. I show him things. He grew up in the outskirts in Fayette County. Yeah. Right? But I take him to Bankhead. I take him to Hollywood Road. I show him what it used to look like. Right. I take him to Deal. Okay. Right? Okay. I take him to show him the Jays. I take him to the West End. Look, this is what happens if you make the wrong decisions. You know, so.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to pay the bills.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to be back with.
I'm not paying them. You paying them?
I wish somebody need to help me pay them, you know?
Well, you know.
Okay. We'll be back with more.
I can introduce you to
the litigator, Everett Tripodis. We'll be right back. What you say, Carl? That's when I start wrapping up and start winding down. Okay, cool beans. 5, 4, 3, 2. We are back with the infamous Everett Tripodis, litigator. So, Everett, what are you doing now? Tell the viewers, what are you doing now? Share some of that positivity, that transformation on us. Let's talk about your current situation as far as future business endeavors and what you have going on overall. Let's talk about it.
Okay, well, I have, I'm in the works with writing a movie
Okay.
based on loosely based on my life and
I think it'll be
just
great.
the whole car theft thing. It's
Mm.
like a new age New Jersey drive,
Okay.
and it's more up to date. So you take a New Jersey drive and mix it with the Gone in 60 Seconds, and then you add a little reality to it. So
Okay.
I have that in the works. I have a documentary that I'm working on
Okay.
that kind of documents my life and also just the auto theft industry in and of itself. Most don't know that automobile purchase is the second largest purchase that anybody will make
Yes, it is.
after a home. You know, I've lobbied the General Assembly, the Georgia General Assembly, to tweak and change some of their laws as it relates to auto theft.
Mm-hmm.
There's some loopholes that I found in the laws relating to carjackings. Most don't know that if I come up and snatch your keys and take your car from your person, that's not considered carjacking in the state of Georgia.
Oh.
You ask, and if I take your car and you say, hey, and I get in and you say, hey, give me my car, and then I pull a gun out on you, get back. That's not carjacking. The loophole in the statute would make you only charge that person with theft by taking,
Okay.
which carries a, nigga getting probation for theft by taking.
Right.
Theft by taking auto. But so there's a loophole as it regards to violent carjack statute.
So that's where you come in. So
I'm lobbying Congress.
okay.
I'm working on the movie. I have the documentary in the works. I have a friend who's at a larger studio in Atlanta who has some folks, upper level folks that are interested in some things I'm working on. I have been working daily though at a law firm in Atlanta that specializes in litigation, civil litigation, criminal cases, complex issues, complex real estate issues. They do real estate closings as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Probate stuff. So
you got your
it's full circle. Okay. A little bit of everything, anything in law. And I'm also working on my own. I'm revamping my social media just to give some street game as it regards crime and things of that nature. Briefly, people are using WhatsApp, for example, to try to text and thinking it's end-to-end encrypted, it's safe to communicate. WhatsApp, the message disappears.
Right.
They want to commit crimes thinking, we'll just talk on WhatsApp. Not knowing that everything that goes into WhatsApp is still stored on the hardware. So even though it disappears in the software, when you look at the app and open it, it's still there.
Right.
So there's a device called Cellbrite that they can take your phone and lay it on this tablet and it sucks out all the information. All your communications on WhatsApp will be on they'll suck it out, so they'll see everything.
So they still have access.
Yeah, so it's a false sense of security.
Yeah.
And one more thing, like the flop cameras.
Okay.
Every corner you look at, there's a rod sticking up with a solar panel at the top with a little square little box on it. People don't know that's a license plate reader.
Wow.
And it's in real time. We have software where I can put your tag number in, and it'll show me everywhere you travel, when you travel there the most, which device you've passed the most, and the algorithm will tell me whether that's likely to be your place of employment or where you live.
Oh, wow.
License plate readers. Yes, extremely scary. People don't know it. And I'm not giving the game to teach people how to be criminals.
No, this is free game.
And what I'm doing is giving people game to understand that the cases that the government, the state, and the prosecutors are putting together are based not on following you now. It's technology based. It's where your phone's located. Who's located near this crime? Dump the cell tower and show me all the phones that have been here at this time. You have all your suspects. So, I'm working on revamping my social media just to give people some game, because you don't have people that know both sides of the law that are giving it to you.
Well, all I can tell you, I can't wait till you become a lawyer, because if I ever need one, I would rather trust you, a person that's an attorney now that has been on the other side, because you would be, you probably, they'll have you booked up for years.
Well,
Booked up for years.
I'm already a lawyer.
Well, have you completed the bar yet?
Well, you have lawyers and attorneys who just profess.
Understood.
My goal ultimately is just to be a law professor. So eventually
Well-
I'll be professing law.
Mhm.
Well, hey man, I'll be maybe in the pulpit praising the Lord and saving souls.
Well, I am eager to see what is next for Mr. Tripodis. I
Won't he do
really
it?
am. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. And what I'm going to do is I want you to look at this camera and you tell the viewers where they can find you.
Which camera?
Anyone.
Oh, we're being recorded? I think you tell me we were on tape.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. See, candid camera.
Yeah, comedian.
You can find me at Harvard_Bankhead on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm Everett Praise God. Everett Praise God. Because we do praise the Lord.
Yes, we do.
Um,
Won't he do it?
I'm at Moss Law Group on Instagram and MossLawGroup.com. You can find us. Any legal needs, any advice you need, any game you need, contact me. I'll respond.
Well, thank you, Everett, so much for just stopping by, just shedding all that information. Again, free game. You just gave all the free game. Again, guys, thank you for coming, tuning in, and make sure you follow me, Lana Hampton, at the Lana Hampton on all social media platforms. Make sure you get my book, Resilience Unveiled. It should be dropping in the next 30 days, but you can already pre-order. And Free Game with Lana Hampton is also another book that I have out. It's a book of affirmation, so pick that up. And also, if you want to watch this and you don't get it right now, go into InStyleAtlanta.com, click Free Game with Lana Hampton, and you can catch up on all of my episodes. And until the next time, you guys be safe and stay free. Okay. Did I catch everything?
That was
Yeah.
yeah.